Welcome to Let's Get Writing presents Author Reads. And this is the part where we get to hear directly from authors. And joining me here is Bernardine and Therese Stapleton. Did I get that in the right order?
Beautiful.
Better known as Bernie. And we're going to be going behind the cover of her newest book, Love Life. And but before we do, this show is kind of an offshoot from my regular show, Let's Get Writing. And that is where Bernie and I talked more in depth about her writing processes and different things she's been working on, particularly in Grand Falls, Windsor, Newfoundland, which is where this show is coming from. And Bernie right now is not here, though. She's in St. John's, Newfoundland. And we were talking about her book. So check that out on Let's Get Writing on YouTube at Catherine Taylor TV. But now we're going to go a little deeper. So tell everyone a little bit about your book, Bernie, and how it came about.
Love Life is a made-up, mostly true fable, sort of half memoir, half fiction, about basically centered around a visit to Italy that I did a few years ago with the Nova Yoga Retreat Group, with Melanie Kane's Nova Yoga Group. And it was pre-pandemic, of course. And while I was there, I was able to bring a lot of the material that I was using on stage into sort of a series of blogs. And then that developed into a very successful blog series. And then it has evolved into Love Life. And it's an homage to life, to love, to food, to culture, and the Newfoundland-Italy connection.
Nice. Nova Yoga. I've done their retreats, but I did it in Port Rexton for a couple of years, myself and my daughter.
Wow. Yeah, I love it because it's a great way to travel if you're going out of the country, because you can be with a group of people that you know and trust, but you get so much solo time, if and when you please, to go do your own thing. For me, it's the perfect way to see the world.
Yeah, pretty nice. And your own thing was the bones of this book and many parts of this book and the experiences you had that you then turned around and put into this book. And I don't know, it's just so glad that you did it. And you kind of described the book as a work about self-acceptance and self-love. And it definitely comes through. And on the acceptance part, you had that wonderful piece on Spanx. I don't have to say any more.
Oh, thank you.
If you're a woman out there, you get that.
Yeah.
So, Bernie, what are you going to read for us today?
I'm reading a chapter called "A Clothesline in Italy," which describes my first night in Italy, having flown in from St. John's to Heathrow and then Heathrow into Italy, and like all the things that I found amazing about our room in the hotel.
Okay. Well, you take it away. I'm going to be here in the corner enjoying.
Okay. There's a jacuzzi in our bathroom, except it isn't a jacuzzi. I keep calling it a jacuzzi, except it's a bidet. Two of us can't fit in that thing at the same time, but it's there, and there's no way it will go unused in some way, shape, or form. Maybe for the laundry. Our balcony is 2 inches wide by 2 feet long. The Italian sensibility is profound when it comes to making the most out of a small space. Give an enterprising Italian a tiny broom closet and she'll install a toilet, a bidet, a peeing cherub, and a window box of flowers balanced on a slab of marble so valuable that if you have the temerity to ask how much it costs, she will hit you with it. We're ecstatic about the balcony. We resist the urge to hang out our underwear and wash our underwear and hang it all out to flap and wave at the endless procession of buses, motorcyclists, and tourists. Already, we've taken dozens of pictures of clotheslines. I don't know why the sight of Italian laundry flapping in the breeze is so alluring for the tourists. We're constantly craning our heads to look at clotheslines draped from building to building, forming canopies of underwear for the narrow streets. Everyone is going around speaking Italian. When they're not speaking Italian, they're speaking other languages with Italian accents. I try not to speak at all so the tourists will think I'm Italian and mysterious. Even when Italians say things like, please pass the butter, it sounds like Shall we make love in a tender field of lace? Everyone is sexy as hell. The old people, the young people, the poor people, the middle-aged people, especially women of any age. If you're a middle-aged woman of any age, get thee to Italy. Adolescents will fall before you with false heart attacks in the hopes of mouth to mouth. People our own age especially find us sexy. If you sit at a street cafe in Italy plucking out your chin hair, you'll have 3 marriage proposals before lunch. The drivers are very polite as well. They will screech to a halt and cause a 50-car pileup, just so a little old lady with a broom can cross the street. I've caused so many pileups because I keep darting into the street. When I cross the street, I stop to bow at all the handsome, crashing drivers. When Michelangelo lost his original sketch of the doodads he planned to paint on the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel, someone found it and thought it was the plan for the roads in Italy. Once the roads were made, it was too embarrassing to admit the mistake, so they had to leave them that way. The best way to drive in Italy is to hire a driver. You get in the back, sit on the floor, close your eyes, and sip some wine. Italian taxi drivers are not so silent. In fact, you'll never know extreme elation until you've been shrieked at in Italian by a taxi driver, one who will only grow more agitated when you ask to have your picture taken with him while he's yelling at you. This elation is only surpassed by the unbearable happiness of being bossed around by an Italian waiter. And that's what makes it all worthwhile to go to Italy.
Oh my gosh, I got to come back up there with you. You know, when I read that and of course hearing you read it, because you're an incredible actor and performer, playwright, all that stuff. If you don't know about BernardineStapleton.com, go there and learn more.
Thanks.
But yes, I'm going to put that up. That description of Italy is probably the best description of Italy I've ever heard.
Thank you so much.
You know, we come over from North America, and I remember one of the first trips, and I have my big suitcase, and we got off the water taxi at St. Mark's Square. And I'm lugging this suitcase, immediately regretting it. Up over the bridge, down over the bridge, and there's always a few steps. And then through St. Mark's Square, trying to find, speaking of the roads and things, where the heck is the hotel? Then and elevator. I hardly think so. No, a staircase going up 3 or 4 floors. I was just like, we totally have to change how we travel to Italy, like a backpack.
Definitely, you know, especially because you can never find where you're supposed to be staying, and don't ask for directions. Even if at the hotel they give you the directions, don't believe them. I think it's sort of like a huge sort of task that if you can figure out how to get there, then it's okay.
Yeah, they may even give you the wrong directions. And then the image of the clothes. I remember sitting on that little tiny ledge off of our hotel and just craning my head. This was in Venice, and just craning my head to see the canal and and watch the gondolas going by. And it was just like there's so much going on there in the cities. And
it is, and it's and historically it's amazing, you know, that the whole place is sinking, of course. Venice is sinking. Which kind of makes it cool to be a Newfoundlander in Venice. You know, it's sort of like a lot of people believe the arse is out of Newfoundland. So kind of the same thing.
Kind of the same thing, only different. But yeah, you make me want to go back in the traffic and Rome. You know, that's what I think of, like lanes of traffic. I wouldn't step my foot off without a sign. And I don't know, just such a special place. And
yeah, I remember too that people who knew would say to us, like, if you see a restaurant with a menu di turista, don't go there. And so we had some good. It's always great to talk to people who've been there and you know, find out where you want to go eat. And you really do want to go eat where they just boss you around and tell you, eat this, eat that. Drink this, drink that. And you know, that was the best part of it, because they are the ones who know. And it was And you're right about all the little bridges and this St. Mark's Square, though, wasn't that overwhelming the first time you were there?
Yeah, quite. And I'm not a fan of birds, so I had a real pigeon phobia, which I eventually got over. And
Yeah.
thankfully, one didn't do anything on me. But I'm just not comfortable being in a lot of birds, in amongst them. And so, but after several trips back there, I eventually was like, nah, I'll tolerate you. I will not eat you. I always felt like they served them around there, but I'm not sure.
I'm pretty sure they do at some places. And of course, just the sheer humanity, just looking at literally this crush of people from all over the world. And then you're all there experiencing the majesty of, the sculpture and the artists and the churches and the stonework. And,
Yeah.
it's just really wonderfully, beautifully
I'll never
crazy.
forget sitting at a table, beautiful white linen tablecloth, and ordering cappuccino. I don't know, it was $30 or something like
Yeah.
that. And then there was a trio playing the most incredible music and just sitting there. And they give you a little chocolate with it. And just sitting there thinking, this is the best coffee or cafe I'm ever going to have
It
in my
really is.
life.
It really is. And I saw a show on restaurants. I wish I could remember what it's called, but they travel around the world doing the best restaurants. And that restaurant in St. Mark's Square, of course, it's
Mm.
very popular with the tourists, but it's still like one of the best in the world. And did you know that all the food that you get there is not made there? The waiters actually go behind that building through a series of back alleys, and they're bringing in all that food in carts constantly all day long. All those white jacketed waiters who always
Mm.
look so beautiful and elegant, they're slaving away like anything. So,
Wow. Well, you
yeah.
told me something I did not know. So now I've got to go back again. Thank you very
Now
much.
you have to say, listen, hey, how long did
Good,
it
go check
take to
it out.
make this beautiful gelato that I'm having right here?
Yeah. Oh my goodness. But yeah, you really bring that country to life. And I think again, the idea of being told what to eat and things like that, isn't that just so like Newfoundland? Like, oh no, my dear, sit down here. You got to have a piece of my, I don't know, a blueberry duff or
Yeah, whatever's on the go. It's
yeah,
very much tradition and culture. What's in season, which is also really great and very,
yeah.
very similar to Newfoundland, like whether it's salmon that you caught or the moose that you got, and also the revelation for me was what true Italian food tastes like and is like, and it's
Mm,
actually sublime and nothing at all like, we're kind of brought up to think it is, because it's really all about everything being fresh and very lightly seasoned and tons of
yes.
vegetables and stuff. And so, and then relating to it through the food, and then through art and culture, and then through yoga, which again is, it's, if you meet other yogis, you've got something in common immediately, right?
Mhm.
So every time I was writing when I was there, I was posting the blogs, and then they were all coming back to me and going, "That's so great." And so the affirmation that I got on that journey was really tremendous. I don't think any other writer would have had been able to have it. So that was pretty cool as well.
Very cool. So as you were going through the whole trip, you were posting, were you getting reactions from people back home?
Yeah, it was overwhelming almost immediately. It was like it had a there was something about the voice the voice I tapped into, was that it was sort of I've found an authentic voice that I loved, and that I've, I work a lifetime to cultivate, that it felt truthful and honest at all times. And it also was incredibly moving at some points as well, um, to be so far away from home. And when our group was there, that was when the terrible fires were happening in Fort McMurray. And so Canada was in the international news a lot. And people there, as soon as I said I'm from Newfoundland, they would go, "Oh, your country's burning down." Like there was knowledge and awareness, and a kind of support that was really intense. Um, Also, the sense of humor is, I'm sure I didn't understand half of what was being said, but it was like always intensely tongue in cheek. And it would make, and my intention is to take a introductory course in Italian this winter,
Yeah.
because I think it's sort of essential. And I think with those languages, with French and Italian, if you can pick up one, that it makes it easier to pick up others as well.
It does. They are similar. The French, I know, I felt semi at home in Italy. I was like, okay, I know.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
Yeah, and who can not like a country where if you're walking down the road, like you say, whatever age, and like some guy looks at you, and not that we need to be validated, but it's still kind of fun.
No, it's great that you're visible, I guess, which is the thing,
Yeah.
because, I speak to so many women over a certain age who, we all say at a certain point you feel like you're not seen, and it's not necessarily how attractive you are, but really how valid are you? How important are you? Like,
Mhm.
most of what is reflected back at us is through a very young lens. It's like the desirable woman is the younger woman, the desirable person is the younger person. And it's really interesting that the actress Frances McDormand, who's one of my favorites, a couple of years ago, I remember, I think it was Vanity Fair, I'm not sure, did this major article on her because she had declared that she was going to age naturally.
Mhm.
She was going to just not have any Botox done and not have anything done. And I was like, well, when is the last time George Clooney had to make such a declaration? Like, what? These guys get gray and grizzled, and they
Yeah.
still want to cast the 30-year-old opposite them as their wife and girlfriend, whereas people like Frances and Meryl Streep, it has to be sort of like a decision that I'm going to look my age. And, there's something askew about that. So being in a culture where many of the artists are mature artists and are senior artists is really eye-opening. If you look at Italian cinema, Italian theater, like French cinema, French theater, it just takes away that barrier, and
Mm.
it's really fabulous.
It is fabulous. And it is nice that we are seeing more happening in our theater now. People like Diane Keaton and Helen Mirren, and even Jane Fonda, and that series that they put out. We're seeing more of that. And yes, it's really good to see. It's really good to have.
Yeah, I think it's really important to see diverse representation, and that goes for size, color,
Hmm.
creed, gender, um, all of those things. And I'm not unaware of the privilege it was to be able to travel. Of course, pre-pandemic, it was something we could do thoughtlessly if you could afford it. And now, of course, we'll all be way more thoughtful and considerate and aware of how different pockets and elements of the world have suffered through this. And, it's going to be interesting to see what, if anything, will have changed there, as I'm sure people are curious about coming here, to see how the world is going to reopen and how gentle we can be with each other and how accepting, hopefully.
Yeah, it's a different world for sure. It is.
Mm-hmm.
And for those who are sitting at home still and want to have an interesting read and a taste of Italy, it's right here. Breakwater Books have it, and it's available. Love Life in your favorite stores and probably many other places, Bernie, I would assume. But online, if you can't get it anywhere else, for sure.
Definitely breakwaterbooks.com, and I'll be putting links up on my website as well. And I think you should get the book and get a bowl of pasta and a lovely glass of red wine and enjoy yourself.
I like the red wine idea. That's really sitting with me
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah, me too.
Well, I think that's a great way to end. We both have purpose to our day, and we've shared some great information with people. And folks, thank you for joining us. This is Let's Get Writing, and Let's Get Writing Author Reads. I'm Catherine Taylor. My guest is Bernardine Stapleton, and we are here on YouTube at Catherine Taylor TV and Facebook at Catherine Taylor Media.
Yeah.
So please.
Oh, and congratulations on your 4th season, by the way.
Oh, thank
awesome.
you. And you know what? I'm so looking forward to it. And it just, I don't know, it just hasn't lost its shine for me. Each and every author I talk to, they all have their own stories. And that's what I love to find out about. So thank you for being part of it.
You're welcome.
Goodbye, everyone. We'll see you again soon.
Bye.
Bye.